Alright, so this is going to be a quick YouTube tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to go from buying a VRChat avatar, taking it into Blender, doing some edits by adding some assets, moving it back into Unity, and then into VRChat. And what better model to use than one from your boy, Casey Core. Oh yeah, best avatars on the market. If anyone told you otherwise, they lying. And we're gonna use the horned ones, male and female, which you can get on caseycore.com. Also got public links if you wanted to go for a test run, but this is the avatar we're gonna edit. Am using the male one. So once you purchase your avatar, you're just gonna press this download button. I've got a nice little how to upload avatar in case you guys are interested and are unexperienced, but we're gonna go ahead and download the avatar. While that download, you might want to use the creator companion. This is what VRChat is created to help make avatar creation and world creation easier. You'll find the download for the Creator Companion on VRChat's website. All you got to do is log in with your username and password and press the download Creator Companion button. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You're going to go ahead and open up the Creator Companion app, and we're going to create a new avatar scene. To do that, we're just going to press Create New Project. Avatars, name your project, create project. This might take a second. Once the creator your companion has finished creating the project, you might see some updates. Just go ahead and update these. Also, something else that you might want to include inside your Unity package would be the gesture manager. This allows us to test the toggles within Unity without having to upload it to VRChat first. You'll just get it from their GitHub. I'll leave a link in the description. And if you scroll down, it says import VCC listing. They make it really easy for you. It's going to ask if you would like to open the creator companion. You press open. Your creator companion will open up. And then you just pick the latest version and wait for that to install. Now that we have all of this installed and everything is updated, we're just going to open up our project. Now, once our Unity project is open, you're going to go to wherever you downloaded your Unity package, and you're going to drag that into your Unity scene in the assets area. Once it's done preparing package, it's going to show all of the stuff that it's going to be importing. Just go ahead and press import. You can press Unity scene. It'll say open me, or usually the avatar's name or something along those lines. Once you open it, you'll see the avatar here. Now, in the top, it might say missing prefab. That's because we didn't import the female version, so we can go ahead and just get rid of that. And because we have gesture manager in here, it's already popped up in my package. It may not be like that in other people's packages, but that's just how it is in mine. Now, sometimes your shaders may be pink, and that's because you didn't import the proper shaders. Usually a creator will say what type of shader is included for the model, but I leave Poyomi, which is the shader that I use, inside my Unity package when you import it, so that everything works. Now, this is important. When you're buying an avatar, you always want to make sure that the package comes packaged. If it's blue like this, that's right. If it's blank, that means it's been unpacked. That means if you take the FBX out of Unity and into Blender, it's going to absolutely obliterate all of the settings that were previously on that avatar. And if that's the case, that means you'll have to recreate everything from the ground up. And sometimes creators don't include all of the proper settings that they used on their avatar, so you might have to remake all of those from scratch. That's a whole different headache that we're not going to get into today. Go into play mode and we click on gesture manager. Once the scene has been finished compiling, we can test our toggles. You can see that all the toggles work. You can change the textures on the hoodie and stuff like that, put the hood down, all that fun stuff. So this is going to allow us to test all of our toggles within Unity, but you might want to make some edits. So what we're going to do is open up Blender. Now that we're in Blender, we're going to want to import the FBX that we have here in Unity. So if we go to Horned Ones folder and then FBX, I have it labeled right here. We want to come find this FBX. What you're going to do is press File, Import, FBX, go to wherever your Unity packages are stored. You're going to find the Assets folder. You're going to go find the Horned One folder, FBX, Horned One M. And boom, here it is. Now we can finally start making some edits. So we're going to be adding 2 assets, and shocker, it's from caseycore.com. We're going to use this Crusader balaclava, and we're also going to use this Skelly puffer vest. You're going to go find wherever you downloaded the Crusader mask and the Skelly puffer, and we're going to import those into our scene. Here we go. We imported our mask. You can hide the clothing because we don't want that in our way at the moment. Now we're just doing this to see if there's any clipping that we need to work on. So there's a little bit on the back of the head. They seem to be pretty standard with models. you're going to have to do some minimal sculpting. We're going to select the mesh that we want to work on. We're going to go into sculpt mode. We're going to go select our grab tool. This is going to be your best friend. And we're just going to go ahead and sculpt this part of the head out so that it's not clipping. And boom, it's done. If it'll make it easier for your eyes, you can go up to the shading tab. You can press on random. For object color, you can pick random as well. It'll create different colors for the different meshes. So now that this is all sculpted, we can select our armature. You want to see if there's any dangling bones that we don't want to delete. Sometimes those could be used for Physbone settings. Because the mask does not have any, we don't need any, so we can just go ahead and delete the armature that the balaclava came with. And then we're going to select our balaclava, shift select our armature, right click, parent to object, and then you're going to go into the mask object, go into the modifiers, and then in your object of your armature, you're going to reconnect the armature. This just tells Blender that this mask moves with this bone. If you're wondering why your mask is floating in Unity, probably because you forgot to do this. We go into pose mode, move the mask, moves all nice and all connected. Now, when we show the clothing, as you can see, the balaclava is clipping into the hood. Now, what you can do for this is we can just create a bonus shape. Click our clothing mesh. We'll go into our data tab, data triangle, add a shape key. And now we can go ahead and go back into sculpt mode. While this is all the way at 100 on the value, let's turn on symmetry mode so that it does it to both sides. And now we're just going to sculpt this out. Wow, look at that. Now, whenever we have the balaclava on, we can activate this shape key and it'll no longer be clipping. And then when we take the balaclava off, we can deactivate the shape key and it'll be conformed normally. Now we notice that the face plate is clipping into the mask here, so we could just make another shape key with the face selected and move it forward just the same we did with the hoodie. So go into your materials tab, make sure nothing's selected, select the face material, press select, and then we're going to go into the data properties. You'll have to go back in the object mode to add new shape key, and we're going to call this the same thing, balaclava on. And now, while in edit mode, we're just going to go ahead and grab the move tool and move this forward so that it's no longer clipped. So when the mask is on, this will move forward. When it's off, it'll move back. So now that we successfully added the balaclava, let's go ahead and add our skelly puffer. So we're going to do the same thing. Go find wherever you downloaded the skelly puffer at. Go ahead and import our skelly puffer. And boom, there it is. So there's going to be some more sculpting that we're going to have to do. Sculpt mode. Go to our best friend grab tool, turn on symmetry, and we're just going to start sculpting this until everything fits properly. So where you take your creative freedom and you think about what would look good. You're going to go ahead and use this snake hook tool to kind of fold out this top part. We're just sculpting it until we think it looks good. We can go ahead and hide the armature too, if that's easier to see. So there's that. I think that looks good enough. We're going to make a shape key for the hoodie once again for the skelly puffer so that when the skelly puffer's on, this gets sucked in. Click our clothing, go into sculpt mode, make a new shape key, values at 1. Go ahead and move this all in. Suck it in, son. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Might have to go back and forth a couple times until you get it to look right. But I think that's looking pretty fire. We have that done. We can go look at the puffer's armature, and as we can see, there's some extremities of dangly bones that we do not want to delete because these move the jacket. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of its armature. So this is the puffer jacket's armature, and we're just going to press A to select all, and we're going to hold control and make and deselect all of the bones that we do not want to delete. Seems like most of them, so we're just going to go ahead and press delete. Now we just have these parts of the skelly puff. Show our other armature, and we're going to click on the skelly puffer's armature, shift left click the armature we want to join it to, press Ctrl J to join, go into the puffer. Make sure you go back to the modifiers tab and the object is selected to the armature so that it has its weight data. And then we want to reconnect these. So these are, if we wiggle these, we can see what moves. So that's probably going to be connected to the chest bone. So we go ahead and make that offset. These are for the tails of the coat and the sides of the coat, as you can see. So let's go ahead and select these and then shift select the chest bone and then parent, make, keep offset. That way they're connected to the chest. Now the reason why that was so easy is because we used my base and my assets Sometimes assets will be rigged to different bases. It's super easy to learn how to rig. I have other YouTube videos showing how to rig to other bases, so go check those out. Not covering that in this video. I'm just showing you how to edit an avatar and then move it into Unity. Now that we have our edits all complete, we're going to go ahead, press File, Export, FBX, and we're going to go find the original FBX that we had in our Unity package, and we're going to go ahead and replace that. So it's going to be in your recents here. Here's FBX, 4:1M. We're going to scroll on this side, go to Armature, make sure that you do not have Add Leaf Bones, and then you're going to go ahead and press Export FBX. I'm going to wait a second. Now when we come back in here, you'll see that our new assets are now on our avatar. Wow, look at that. So we did add some shape keys. So we want to set up, we added shape keys to the clothing. So we're going to click on our clothing, go to inspector, open up the blend shapes. And since I want the default state to have like the balaclava on, I'm just going to turn on that. And for the puffer and for the jacket, for the hoodie, we're going to have it sucked in. So make sure that Skelly Puffer is on. And now let's go to our face, is on our body, and we're going to move the balaclava shape key forward so that it's no longer clipped. And now we go ahead and set up our texture. So we're going to make 2 new folders. Some asset creators, aka me, will include the materials for said asset. You can just drag in that whole folder into your assets area. So now that our material loaded into, we're going to go ahead and select the one that we think looks cool. Let's go ahead and just activate these shape keys so that we can see what we're doing. Go find the textures that you want. I'm going to go for the plain black one, and I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these other materials and textures that I do not want. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock the shader, and I'm just going to move these into the main balaclava folder. I'm going to delete this empty folder now. Go ahead, relock. Now, when you import new textures, it's always a good idea to select them and optimize the texture settings. These are going to save your texture memory in the long run. When you click on a texture, I like to turn my anesio level to max, change the max size depending on detail to 1K. You generally don't want to go above 1K. Change compression to high quality, use crunch compression, move this slider all the way to the max. You got to do that with every texture. Good thing is you can shift select all of these textures and do it to them all at once. So for these textures that have less detail, I'm just going to turn them to 512. Do the same thing, and then I'll go back to my normal map, keep that one at 1K. That way we keep all that normal detail, and boom, now we have the balaclava all optimized with textures. We're going to do the exact same thing for the puffer. I went ahead and imported the materials and optimized all the textures for the puffer. We're going to go ahead and lock the shader in, and now we can get to Physbones. So we've got left hood bit, right hood bit, this part of the puffer. So we're going to go to add component, type in bone. Here you're going to add and mess with these settings until you find some settings that you think look good. So I'm going to go ahead and add some in position on the Y, and then we're going to go ahead and thicken this up. I want to limit the motion because I don't really want it clipping in the neck. And we're going to edit the pitch of this. That looks good. Little roll action on there. Yeah, so default settings look pretty good. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm lazy, so we're gonna go with that. Now, once you find Physbone settings that you like, you can actually go to that Physbone. If you click these little sliders at the top right of the settings, you can actually create a preset. So when you press create preset, name this something that you will remember. So I don't know, slight jiggle. Save that somewhere in your folder or somewhere on your desktop so that you can import this later, and then you can click that same thing, and as you can see, I have a bunch of different settings here already, and you can all you have to do is click one of these and it'll apply all of those settings. So really helpful, especially when created some settings that you really like. So for example, if I go to add component, Physbone, since I have these tail coats selected, I already have some that I genuinely like. So I like this chains look. I'll edit, tweak it a little bit, add some length on the endpoint so I get better movement, grab it. Now if you don't want people to grab it, go down here to grab and pose, allow grabbing. If you turn that to false, that means people won't be able to grab your stuff. Same with pose. You ever had people grab your stuff and then click and now your Physbone's floating? You can change this to false so that no, people can't do that anymore. Play mode, yeah, it moves all nice. I like it. Now we can add an angle constraint so that it doesn't clip through the back like that. So that's sweet. Now we have all of our Physbone settings done. Now we can go ahead and make some toggles. Now I'm just going to be doing some simple on and off toggles. I'm not going to go into depth with toggles other than this basic toggle. If you guys want a longer form video on the different types of toggles that you can make, let me know in the comments. Go ahead and do is create an animation avatar. So what that is we're just going to duplicate our avatar, hide the main avatar that we want to save, because sometimes when you're messing with animations you can break your model because Unity sucks. So you're going to click on your new model. You can name it if you would like so that you don't get them confused. And then I'm just going to go to my animation folder because this is where I want my stuff to save. I'm going to click on our new avatar that we made in the hierarchy. We're going to go into animation. We're going to press create, and now we're going to create our new animation. So I want to take the puffer off. I'm going to do puffer toggle. Press save. Now we're in the animation thing. Now when you move this, your character's going to snap down. Don't worry about that. What we're going to do is we're going to press this little record button. Now we're recording. So any edits that we make will be live record. So you want to turn this off if you want to like toggle something real quick to see what it looks like. Make sure that this is toggled off so that you don't add it to this animation. So when it's on, I'm going to click my puffer jacket. I'm going to move it over to the next keyframe, go over to the object, and toggle the off. So now on the second keyframe, it's off. On the first keyframe, it's on. Now we made some shape keys earlier for the hoodie when the puffer's on. So we want to deactivate those. So we're going to go to this keyframe where the puffer's turned off. All right, we're going to click our clothing, see our skelly puffer on shape key. We're going to move that. So now these will suck in when it's on, and when it's off, they'll pop back out like normal. You can see that with the hoodie up here too. We made our first animation toggle. So we can go ahead and turn off the recording so we don't make any mistakes, and we can either, and so now we're going to create our new clip. We want to be able to put the hood down for the puffer jacket. So puffer hood down, press save, go to our second keyframe. Now that we're on our new animation, we're going to click our hood again. We have a hood shape key, and we're just going to move this down. Simple as that. Now we have a toggle for the hood. Now we're going to do that again with the balaclava. Save, second keyframe, press record, take the mask off. Now that the mask is off, we want to turn off the shape key for the clothing. So balaclava is now off. We moved our face, so we're going to turn that off since the balaclava is off. And now that it's off, everything will test this. Wow, that looks awesome. And now you finish your animation clips. So we're going to stop recording. We're going to go to our project. We're going to go ahead and delete our avatar, our animation avatar, because we don't need it anymore. We're going to reshow our other avatar. You also want to go to these new animation clips that you made and make sure loop time is turned off, because what this does is if loop time is on, it's going to repeat all of the frames that you had in. So since we have the first frame on and the second frame off, it's just going to make your clothing flash whenever you make toggles. So let's go ahead and turn off all these loop times. So now we're going to go into the animation folder, and we're going to go into our horned parameters. These are the parameters that control all of our toggles. So we're going to go ahead and add a bool. A bool is just a simple true and false toggle, and we're going to name this something like puffer toggle. It's important to keep capitalization when making these toggles. So go ahead and select it, press Ctrl C on your keyboard to copy. Now we're going to go to our FX. This is where all of our controllers are. We're going to go into our animator tab. If you do not see this, all you have to do is go to Windows, Animation, Animator, and it'll pop up. Once you're in here, let's go ahead and add in our layers tab. We're just going to copy and paste that toggle. Make sure that the weight set to 1. Parameters, press the little plus icon. We added a bool, so we're going to do that, and we're going to do the same thing for the hood and the balaclava. Now remember, all of this is case sensitive, so if your toggles aren't working, it's probably because you misspelled it. So that's why I just copy and paste it, and it's the same across in the animator for the layers and parameters here, and for the parameters here. So now we're going to go into our layers, and we're actually going to make the actual toggle. So for our puffer toggle, we're going to go into our animations, look for puffer toggle. You can use this little search bar. So here's the animation. We're going to drag it in twice. This is going to be our on state and our off state. So since this is our entry, this is where it's going to idle on. So your puffer jacket's going to be on at this state. So we're going to make a transition into the off state. So this is when you'll take your puffer jacket off, and then make a transition back so that when you toggle it back and forth, it takes it on and off. So go into your puffer toggle entry state. You want to change the speed to -1 so it's not moving. You want to turn off right defaults, because right defaults always breaks everything. I don't know why, it just does. Now this transition, make sure that you turn off exit time and fixed duration so that the toggle happens instantly. differently. In your conditions, you're going to press add. This is where we added it in that parameters tab. So this is going to be our puffer toggle. So when we activate this, we want it true to turn off. This is the boolean that we were talking about. Now on the transition back, you're just going to do the opposite. So turn all these off, condition, puffer toggle, true. You're going to change this to false. So going to is going to be true. Coming back will be false. And you're going to do that same thing for puffer hood. So just a quick little recap. Balaclava, we're going to add both of our animations. Speed, -1. Right defaults off. Right defaults off. Make transition to click. Off exit time. Off fixed duration. Add condition. Balaclava, true. Transition back. Turn off exit time and fixed duration. Add condition. Balaclava, false. Now we have working toggles. So now we actually have to add this to the physical menu. So I already have a lot of our clothing set up. So I'm just going to add a new tab. This tab for the menu is going to be called puffer. I'm going to move this above hoodie because it makes me happy. We're going to make this a sub menu. So this is going to be a menu and a menu. Create another menu. Press create, VRChat, avatars, menu. We'll name this menu puffer jacket. And then inside this menu, we're going to press add. It's not a button, it's a toggle. I'm going to add it again. So now we're just going to name this to puffer hood for the first one. And we're going to make this one puffer toggle. Now that we have that for the puffer hood, we're going to go to the parameter. Well, before that, we have to add this menu in our horned one. So if we go to puffer here, this sub menu right here, since we made this a sub menu, we're just going to drag this into there. And so if we go into this puffer jacket menu and now add, go to puffer hood in the parameter, look for your hood, boom. So now that's the toggle. For puffer toggle, click that. Now that's puffer toggle. So puffer hood, puffer toggle. Now, if we go into our gesture manager, enter play mode, go back to our scene, you can see that if we go into our expressions menu, click on puffer, press puffer hood, the hood goes down. Same thing for the toggle. Pretty sweet. You're almost a pro. So we're going to do the exact same thing with our balaclava. So we're going to add a control. We're going to put it above the puffer. We're going to call this balaclava toggle parameter balaclava. Now, I don't want my logo to be here, so I'm just going to clear that logo. So this, what I'm doing right now is the icon that shows up. Normally I'll take a screenshot of the asset, go into Photoshop, clear the background, and that's how I create my icons. If you guys want a video on that, I'll also show you guys how to do that. Super simple. But we enter play mode, we go into expression. You can see our balaclava when we turn it off goes down, puffer hood down. Look at that. Cool action. Go to the hoodie, put the hood down, put the balaclava back on. There it is. Pretty sweet. And it's all done. So now all you have to do, go into VRChat, type in your username and password, press sign in. It's going to send you an email. You're going to paste the code that it gives you. It's going to log you into your account. Now you're going to press autofix for anything that you see. So I'm just going to press autofix for this and then autofix for this. And now you're done. So when you click on your character in the hierarchy, this blueprint won't be here. So you're going to want to detach this, go back, and here you'll name your avatar. So we'll call this the horned one male pest. And then you can give it something cool like shop at kc4.com because the best. And then you're going to want to select an image for your character. Let's take a nice screenshot of his face. Boom, capture. Now we just press build and publish. Press OK that you own this. It's gonna ask anchor overrides. You just say yes, recommended, and it will compile your scripts and upload to your account. Now that your avatar is uploaded, you're gonna go ahead and launch VRChat on VR. Unless you're hopping in VR, hop in VR. Now that we're in VRChat, you just go to your avatars, go to uploaded. There he is. Press apply. Wow, now we're in here. He's got all the little wiggly bones. He moves. You gotta press R to open up the menu. Balaclava comes off. Puffer hood goes down. Toggle. What? And you successfully edited a Casey avatar. Congrats. Subscribe, like, goodbye.